Seeing it's 8:15 a.m., so let's go ahead, call the meeting to order of Whatcom PUD Commission on July 14th, 2026, and we'll start with rising for the Pledge of Allegiance. Join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Start with approval of the agenda.
I want to start by saying I really like all the extra detail in the agenda. But it looks good to me, so I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Yeah, I mean, I think it reflects, kind of how you want to present things, Tony, and I appreciate it, and we'll figure it out. There's a lot more, you've broken up a lot more detail under the general manager report. And we had some, repeated things under old business that we would always show, but I think you're just showing them up if there's something to discuss.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've got no changes.
I agree. Yeah, it's nice to see the items laid out this way.
Give me a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda is approved. And next, the consent agenda, approval of minutes for June 23rd and claims for today. Anything, comments on the minutes?
Comments?
Me either. I will move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
I'll second. I'm still on second.
I don't know who got there first, so that's up to Joseph for the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And next we'll move to public comment. If anyone would like to address the commission, this is a first opportunity. There will be another later in the meeting. If anybody's on Zoom, you may raise your hand at the bottom button in the Zoom user interface, and we will unmute and call on you. Going once, going twice, public comment. Anybody in the room? Not seeing any. We will close, and there will be another public comment at the conclusion of the meeting. So we'll move on right along to our general manager report.
All right, good morning. We'll start with Kirk.
We're gonna start with me. Okay, cool. So I need to declare 2 emergency incidents since we've last seen each other. One of them was for our irrigation lines out on Douglas Road. So we had a burst pipe. Actually, I should say the customer had a burst pipe, and we were working with them to shut off the line so they could do a repair. But it turns out that our valve did not close all the way, and so when they tried to do the repair, there was no water flowing through the pipe. So that's where our emergency declaration arrived, in the sense that we needed to put in a new valve to be able to actually turn off the connection so they could repair it. And I keep saying it was after the meter, so it was the customer's connection, but there was some damage to a yard and there was a little bit of damage to the house that was nearby, so we had to get the water shut off immediately. So there was that. The repair's done, everything's done with that, but I don't have an invoice yet from the contractor. So next commission meeting, there will be the resolution to close it all out and take care of everything. But if there's any questions.
So someone's house was damaged from flooding? Yeah. Is that our responsibility?
Because it's after the connection.
After the connection.
Right.
Okay. Boy, that's too bad.
Yeah, but apparently, I guess it was like under house insulation, and it's already been repaired by our customer for that homeowner.
Gotcha.
But it was like the underfloor insulation was damaged.
Yeah. But all square on.
Right. There was all square on that. The new valve was installed and everything shut off, and then they had the water back on and everything like that. So it's all complete. Repairs taken care of. It's all done.
And what have we learned about about preventative maintenance? Is there anything that is bringing up for us to look at some other valves?
Well, there is a number of valves on both Douglas and Aldergrove lines that are decades old. So we're gonna create a new CIP for next budget year. And start methodically just working through all the PUD main shutoffs and just work down the line and, or create a matrix of priority of, you know, if we'd had issues with something before and just start working, churning through them and replacing them. So that's a kind of a result of work from that.
Do you know how many irrigation customers we have down Douglas Road? That's the only place where we have
We have a few
irrigation
on
customers.
Alder.
Alder, okay,
I think on Douglas, maybe about a dozen or
Okay.
so.
just kidding.
Yeah, not a lot.
Yeah.
Any questions on that?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, and then there was a second one, which was a little bit more of a critical, situation. We had one of our, we have two steel towers, well, technically have more than two, but we have two steel towers on I-5 and Slater Road. I'm sure you've driven by them. They're lattice steel towers where we cross I-5 from the east to the west. And so, during a routine, unmanned aerial vehicle, a UAV inspection, they found some problems with the cotter pins on the elevated line. And so due to that inspection, we saw that we had a very critical potential failure. And so we declared emergency for that and brought in Patelco to do the repair. And so let me,
It was a hot repair?
yes, no, sorry, it was not, we pulled a clearance, it was a couple weeks ago, so, no, we pulled a clearance, it was shut off. No, it was not a hot repair, but I have let me pull it up here,
Yeah, you're able to share?
yeah, I have,
So we have to throw some switches when we do something like that, right? Obviously, which mean basically to bypass supply and through
That-
other, and we've got redundancy of that kind, right? To the
Right, it's
PSC
Customer
line,
was uninterrupted.
yeah.
Yeah,
So we relied on the PSC lines to bypass our lines, basically?
yes,
In this case, yes.
Yeah,
They were interrupted, they didn't need to go to backup generators or anything.
no, it ran through the
Yeah.
PSC.
Okay.
through
Yeah, the
PSC.
customer didn't see an interruption. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
so as a result, we'll get a, how does that happen then? Do we get a bill from PSC for we just a good
No,
neighborly relationship kind of thing?
no, at this time, no, there would be no bill from PSC for this instance.
Okay,
It goes into our interconnection agreement.
So I have it's honestly, it's a little bit small for you there, so. What you're looking at is probably 100 feet up in the air, there's 3 connection points. 2 to the kind of the top left and 1 to the bottom right, and there's pins that. Go through the shackles, and then there's small cotter pins. And those are the very top pieces, and they were actually sliding out the cotter pins, and so if you have your cotter pin falls out of the small piece. Then the big thing comes out, and then you could potentially drop the line. Is a potential outcome of this.
cool,
Yeah, right?
yeah, so I don't know if you know this, but there's PUD power lines that run through my farm. And So,
So they were just inspected about
okay, cool,
2 weeks ago.
awesome, I like
We
that.
do
love
that, we do that annually, and so, but as it says here, an inspection program turns risk into planned work.
Great,
And so we were able, this wasn't something that we got a call in the middle of the night and we were all freaking out.
right, yeah,
This was a planned work, and we found the problem and it was repaired immediately. And so you can see why this would be an emergency call out
Mhm.
for us. And so, actually, that's the second one.
an
Here's the-
inspection
here's the
success
better-
story.
There's there's the work being done. There's the telescoping truck with the worker up there to the line. So one of the other issues we found, you can see it better, in this picture, again, up at the left, those kind of concentric circles, those are the insulating glass. That could protect the actual line from grounding out to anything down to the ground. And those are up, actually, they would kind of straight above the worker's head there. Is the glass, and so the glass is starting to fail. This is another thing that's decades old that we have, and so we're gonna be doing doing work next year. We haven't done any planning yet. This is something we just discovered, so we're gonna have to do some engineering and work through the planning to replace these glass insulators and just do planned maintenance. But this all comes about from doing just annual maintenance and annual inspections of our equipment and finding these things before they become a true issue. So,
Well, thank you guys for continuing to do inspections and maintenance before you killed pigs and horses
yes.
on Jamie's farm.
And anything else. And so again, the work is done, we haven't got the invoice from Patelco yet, so. When it's all, we should have the invoice before the next commission meeting, we can wrap these both up.
So I'm just talking my personal training on things like this. It's been about having two that there needing to be two failures for there to be a crisis. And is that pin a single point of failure, or is there a second thing that would have had to fail for something bad to happen?
You want to pull up the image again?
Yes, yeah.
So if you look at that, there's technically two pins going onto the line side and one pin going to the pole side.
Okay.
So there's a dual protection relay on the line side. There's a single point on the pole side. We do have caveats and protection with tiebacks on the pole side.
Okay.
The issue with that is this line was built in the 1960s by PSE for us. The EPA has been doing a lot of studies on this, and they've shown that a lot of the older load calculations actually don't support, even if it's a single critical failure. So there's a risk with that, so that's why we jumped on it right away, so.
Okay, thank you.
Great,
Well done.
yeah.
Thanks.
So we had the, I can't remember what you called it, some sort of drone type thing.
Yeah, a UAV.
UAV, that we do that? Who does
We
that?
have a contractor.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we've approved that.
Yeah, I
Contract.
just didn't know if it was like.
No, not in-house though, no.
And it's something that we do once a year, like.
We do it once a year, with a visual inspection, and they take pictures, and we have a record, and then every 5 years we do a LiDAR, and know exactly how that breaks out, or, it's like
Yeah,
$8 short for something else as well, it's LiDAR, but then that gives us a record again, that's we can maintain, and that tells us line sags that it's in like this multicolored 3D imaging that can tell you if the line is sagged more than a certain percentage since the last time, and so we can do preventive maintenance activities based on that as well.
Nice.
That's useful.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we all like to see it, and, well done, yeah.
I mean, when it was, I think it was July 2nd or July 3rd it happened, and it was a rainy day, and, it was around noon, and we get this call from the drone operator going, hey, we've got a problem, and we get some pictures, and, we're freaking out,
Is that the picture that cause that just.
This
looks
is like an
normal
after
to
the
me.
fair
Oh, okay, it's like everything looks fine.
No, that's before.
So if you look at that cotter, it's hard to see on that
The
screen.
top right cotter pin is kind of almost out. It's, it's a little small for you to see, but.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just like, oh, geez. So luckily Patelco was wrapping up some project nearby. They had a boom lift high enough to get there, and so we had Patelco on site within like 2 or 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
And they just replaced the cotter pin, or?
They replaced the cotter pins. There were a few that were loose that they pushed back in and kind of bent the metal to keep it from coming out.
Mhm.
One of the things that we saw is that there's actually on the west pole, there's line dampeners for things like wind and stuff like that, that keeps the line from moving too much, but for whatever reason, there's no line dampeners on the east pole. And so that would be one of the activities we would probably engage in next year, is get line dampeners on there to keep things from shaking around too much.
Yeah, it'll reduce, it'll be a vibration damper,
Correct, exactly.
mechanical capacitor.
Mhm.
Thanks, Kurt.
You're welcome.
Well, yeah, responding right away, taking care of it before anything breaks, that's, yeah, glad everything, you were able to do that and that we're, you know, keeping an eye out and planning more for the maintenance.
Great.
Yeah, we'll get that to be in.
Thanks, Commissioners. That's all I have for that.
Well, we'll move on, Garrett, would you, like to share with us?
Yeah, Mike, you wanna share that PowerPoint? That's the wrong one, Mike. It's one we just looked at.
To say we appreciate the PowerPoint slides and preparing it.
Cool.
And for making them big enough for me to see.
Got it? Alright. There's got it for us.
Is that it, Mark? Here, okay, there you go.
Alright, so Tony asked me to look at a charging grant for some EV chargers. First, he very creatively asked me what location at the PUD would best suit chargers. We've done numerous research into this over since Brian has been involved with PUD, so a couple of years back. Quite honestly, the admin building is the only real suitable location right now for EV chargers. That mostly due to the fact that currently we have a parking constraint over here at the ops building, and plant one is in the middle of a rebuild, so we don't want to put chargers in and then rip chargers out. Admin building is very supportive of chargers though, so we looked at this EV charger grant through Volkswagen and Washington Ecology.
Because of the VW settlement?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they offered level 2 and level 3 chargers. We don't really meet the qualifications too well for the level 3, but we meet the qualifications very well for the level 2. So what we're proposing is going into this as a not full public access because we have limited hours. Full public access would be 24/7, which we cannot do with operations, obviously. So site access from 7 AM to 3 PM. It would be right here at admin. That has a benefit with the grant, considering that it's not a site host agreement. So a lot of these grants were looking for site host, and if you own the site, you don't have to do a site host, so that bumps us up a little bit within the grant process. We're looking at 2 dual port chargers, CP600s. They essentially could give a minimum of 9 kilowatts, but they can go up to 12 off a 50 amp circuit, which we have plenty of access to. They'll do ports, so we'll have 2 charging stations for 4 chargers total, right here in front of admin. The quickest cost-effective route. We wrote down the cost, if you want to go to the next slide. So we're capable up to $10,000 per plug, so we can get $40,000 off this grant. The total project would be $96,000 in cost to the PUD. With an equivalent remainder of 56, we'd be paying out of pocket. So not too bad. We do have till June of 28 to install the chargers if we get awarded the grant. The essential deadline for turning this in is July 23rd or 24th. I've already got it pre-written up, so it's ready to get submitted. I just kind of was looking for a head nod from you guys saying, go forward with this, so.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
in favor, yes.
Yeah, I got some things to share. So So one of the things we'll get from this, because we're the supplier, are low carbon fuel standard credits, which will be a long-term, not a lot of money. Not with the current use, but if we electrify, it could be actually not an insignificant source of revenue. I mean, on the order of hundreds of dollars a month, you know, it's definitely enough for coffee money or something like that, so, I just wanted to share that, and then secondly, can we sign Eddie and Tony up as customers so we can increase our number of customers at the PD?
So just with the customers, so during
We'll get
those
before then?
hours, it will be open to the public?
Yeah, and that opens up a slew of, obviously, there would have to be long-term discussions about billing. and
Right.
everything That goes along with that, because we can't just give out the gift to public funds.
Right,
The other aspect we would have
Yeah,
to
so we
look at,
need to sign you guys up as customers.
would be rates. Because there's currently a lot of we're not in the best category for this grant, because there's enough EV chargers around the area within 4.4 miles and less.
Mhm.
That they consider us a low tier on this one.
I didn't think there were any public EV
So-
chargers in Ferndale.
If you go to the ecology's website, they have a map that you have to go based off of that for filling out the grant application. Which I'm more than happy to share a link with,
Uh-huh.
and there's like 3 or 4 within 4 miles or less of this location.
And they're not the Tesla chargers at the Birch Bay.
They pop up on the
outlet.
map, but they're not the ones that registered as closest to us, so,
Oh, that's
So-
interesting.
yeah.
So to clarify, right, is it like, there's a grant, there's a tier for fleet and workplace, but we're opting for eligibility to go with the public access?
Yeah, so not full public access, but we're also going into the fleet category and public access.
Okay, so it would be a combination,
It would be combination turn in.
and so we could have them as, you know, available for visitors to the
Yep.
PUD, right? And then future fleet vehicles.
Yep.
And then say if we were to, if we ended up, you know, we'll have 4 plugs ideally, right? So then if we ended up using them all for our vehicles and they weren't public access anymore, are we like required to leave some open available?
No.
Okay.
Yep.
And then so, presuming that, you know, we would put this in our capital budget if we're awarded the grant. Otherwise, you know, wait and see,
Yep.
right? So no harm in applying and seeing what we might get. I guess the installation cost is more than I would expect for level 2.
Yeah, we have to do commercial grade. So there's some aspects with that. We also have to do some conduit runs outside. On top of that, with it being a Department of Ecology grant, they want to go through the whole dig study with the Department of Ecology. And realistically, we're only digging about 40 feet in front of the building, but we're still required by law to do that, which adds additional cost to that.
I see,
Yeah.
okay, right, all right, okay, yeah, there's yeah, it's, we have to do some work around it. And then, for, you know, I guess in our application, we're public entity, right? So after the award, then we would put out bids for vendors and.
Yep, we
and all
will
that, yeah.
solicit bids after that.
So that doesn't have, none of that has to be figured out for the grant.
No.
And both for the installation and for potentially if we have a third party to run, charging, I mean, the fees through.
Yeah, that's gonna be a net question.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out,
So, yeah.
But we would be the provider of the power, correct, right?
So we would have to meter said power too, because we have meters on every building. So we would have to meter the power leaving from the transformer and from the meter here. And to direct that directly from what we're pulling off PSC lines at the substation currently. So that's part of the additional cost.
That makes sense, yeah, right, we're not just, yeah, it's just throwing it into an existing distribution system, we have to build it off of our. I guess so, I mean, but so does this function as like an extension of, you know, the PUD's facility, the campus here as an electric customer of PUD, or is this like, is this like having an additional customer on the books?
I don't think you'd see enough threshold of cost to consider a additional customer, to be honest. I mean,
Right,
we're not,
This is all.
We're
this
not a
falls
high
within our-
traffic road.
Yeah, I
right
don't think
now,
we're gonna
so-
generate a lot of revenue.
We're not, no.
Right.
Yeah,
And if we wanted to offer any of these services to employees, we can look at the option of going the route of, well, they pay as they go, just like the public. Or we would have to work into our benefits plan, right, into policy that this is part of the employee benefits, right? So,
It's a perk, yeah,
right, but that's down the road.
That's down the road,
It's not grant dependent.
right, that's all to figure out later, right, but yeah, you can have, if where it's public and they just have a. User account where they can just charge, if so, that's a pretty common thing, employee perks, yeah, I guess that would make sense. It seems like it would be easiest all around, probably like given the limited amount of sale, just to make it free. But we can't do that because it would be the gift to public. Okay. All right, well, but we should, but level 2 meaning speeds up to, up to 20 kilowatts maybe, or
with the commercial ones, bare minimum for this grant was 9 kilowatts. These go up to, I wanna say it's 19.75 tons.
Yeah.
You're envisioning that 50 amp circle?
Yep.
So,
250s or one?
It'd be 250s, one great start for it. So,
This is great.
This
It's
is good, yeah.
Good to do it while there's a grant available, because we will have to do it later, no matter what.
right, it's the first step in us
Yeah,
being able to have the capability
Yeah.
to bring on any sort of electric vehicles into our own fleet.
Right, yeah, and then that opens up doors and there's, potentially more grants for vehicle replacements and such in the future and.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see this and, going after the opportunity, so, we'll know in, I don't know,
they announced the award, I believe, in fall of this year. So
okay, pretty
they don't
soon,
have a set date yet, so.
that's great.
So, and I assume that these applications are site specific, but, once we have it here, I think there's also potential for us to do it with, certain customers. And, certain, facilities adjacent to us too. So I don't know if they'd be interested, but maybe City of Ferndale might be interested at some point in the future to get our help in providing EV charging. Especially.
Yeah, there may be some ways in which we can partner with,
Yeah, especially where we have distribution like. at
Where
their
we have
plant-
power,
At their
right.
plant, adjacent to ours, so. and,
yeah,
I mean, it's just worth reaching out and asking, yeah.
all right.
Okay, well,
You need a
thank you,
motion?
Garrett.
Just
Just
been
a
heading
heads
up, so.
Yeah, we got
I'll
head
go
on.
for it.
Sounds good.
Got all three of us, yeah.
Thank you.
Next, Tony, got an update on,
Yeah, we talked about it right at the start of the meeting, but, well, first, thank you all for coming to the 4th of July parade in Blaine. And joining, the rest of the employees that were there. And thank you to all the employees out there who did show up. I thought it was, it was a great representation of, not just the employees and, the PUD, but of the county. And I'm new to the county and, I'm 30 days in or so and, it was amazing. You just don't find that sort of, community everywhere, right?
Yeah, I think
So,
I think, yeah, we should celebrate, and I think we should, next time we win, we should have We Are the Champions ready to go, key it up and
Oh,
play,
yeah.
play.
no pressure to win again.
throw us a
But,
parade.
But on those lines, Lisa, put in an awful lot of, time and effort along with, friends and family, so I'd like to thank them. And, they also hosted us at, her parents' residence, for a brief time prior to the parade starting. So, that's added to how special this was, I think, for everybody. It really does show how unique this community is.
Almost said next year she'll have quiche ready for us when we stop by.
Right, yeah, everything will be ready. But, we do have a staffing update moving on. So as you know, Rebecca's announced her intention to retire at the end of the year. And, she's heavily involved with, our smaller water contracts and, the adjudication process and everything, library related. Speaking to different staff members internally, really developed a you know, clear sense that, that Andrew is, in a perfect position to take over those responsibilities, in addition to the responsibilities that he has today. So we're not walking away from broadband or power, we're doubling down. Andrew's going to be the customer service and business operations end of all of our accounts. And for the foreseeable future, you know, until we become, you know, the size of like Seattle City Light or Tacoma Power, I think
Which is very soon,
yeah, right around the corner.
around the corner.
But his role's gonna evolve.
With this float thing, we're unstoppable. That way.
Upward trajectory.
It's.
But so Andrew's gonna do contract management, all contracts, not just small water, but all contracts. Andrew, your background could be more well aligned for this sort of work. So we just kind of have this hidden gem on our staff that is perfectly aligned for this. He has a large background in customer-oriented positions. He's very diplomatic, and he has a strong work history in developing partnerships. So I want to leverage that. So that's my intention, is for Andrew to incorporate that. So he and Rebecca are immediately starting to turn over. And so that we'll have a nice long process of turnover to the end of the year, so he can ease into that job.
That makes a lot of sense. And then you have a few months for the transfer of knowledge and all the you know, get you connected in all the relationships that Rebecca has, and seems that, yeah, well fit.
We just gotta monitor the bags under Andrew's eyes.
I know, yeah, like I'm excited for that, and I'm watching Andrew, because I feel like, you know, when I first started here, I guess 4 years ago, Andrew was like the broadband guy, and then we were like, you know what, Andrew's now the broadband geothermal guy. And now we're like, yo, Andrew is the broadband geothermal / you know, water guy. And you know, just makes me nervous. Also, congratulations on getting your master's just last month, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
congratulations.
congratulations.
So all new business will funnel through Andrew, business development, right? And if we need to make adjustments, or it would be great if we're just having conversations about, it's just so overwhelming because we're bringing in so many new customers.
So many people, yeah.
That we need to expand that group, that would be a good problem to have. And I'm looking forward to that day where I come to you with that problem.
So,
So, okay.
So is Andrew going to be responsible for all contracts? Will we also be having like a change of title or job description?
Yeah, we haven't kind of settled on his exact title, but we've kicked around what that title would be.
Okay.
But we'll let you know.
We got a little bit of time, and then, you know, I'm just expecting for next year's budget, you know, we got a few months to sort out maybe what we'll do with the FTE, the other FTE.
It's my intention to repurpose the FTE to where our business needs needed.
Right, identifying what we need as much.
We come to you to drop that FTE requirement, as much as convert it, right?
How about Kurt, your ops, and Andrew's non-ops?
non-ops.
Ops, non-ops.
Oh, sure.
Business ops, physical ops. Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. It's your job. I'm just having fun with it.
Yeah, I
Okay, I just not overstepping my boundaries here.
Yeah.
I just imagine ops, not ops.
Let me write the job description.
So moving on.
Good idea.
As you've heard about the governor's Washington Water Future Initiative, and you probably read a lot about it. But the Washington Water Future is a statewide initiative created by Governor Ferguson for I think it's led by ecology, and to help us prepare for our growing water challenges across the state. There is a utility and government input session on the 13th of August.
Oh, I thought it was 7.
That's virtual. If just make sure that's on your radar if you were intending on listening on that or having input. I've been invited to the Nooksack Regional Roundtable, which will be held at Whatcom Community College on August 17th.
Oh, that's.
So there'll be a discussion there. And I bring this up because I think it'd be a good idea for me to have an understanding of where the commission sits on what our priorities are to bring forward, in that forum. And so I don't necessarily expect us to either get too far into a conversation or have time for it today, but between now and maybe the next commission meeting, we can have some conversation so I can develop an understanding about as a body where the commission sits on what those priorities are. There's a number of things that the governor's commission, puts on their webpage for the Washington Water as potential topics, right? It's not all inclusive, but aquifer recharging, reclaiming water, water storage, which we've talked about here before, conservation and efficiency efforts, wetland restoration, floodplain restoration, and other strategies to build resilience. And I think those are good areas for me to have a sense of where do you think our priorities are on that list, and then anything else that I should probably have armed in my back pocket.
It's so complicated. And they read off these, oh, we've got, fire recharging and water storage and conservation, and all of that is great, except most of it requires a change to the water law. Because nobody can conserve water when you have a use it or lose it clause in water policy. So I think it's pretty clear. I mean, sarcastic, but I think it's pretty clear that like one of the priorities should be the legislature looking at that law so that conservation is possible, so that storage is possible, so that all of these things that we want and we need are possible. Otherwise, we're just sitting in another meeting talking about stuff that sounds good that isn't possible, and it's frustrating because I've been doing it for far too long. That said, Carl Weimer, I think, reached out to each of us individually about the roundtable, and it sounds like they're trying to coalesce behind a very specific ask, which I think is actually a good idea. The ask essentially being they want ecology to create an office, like a Nooksack River office. I was surprised that would be what the ask was, considering it's really just a diverse group of people talking about this, including agriculture, including tribal nations, like wanting this because there seems to be a general mistrust of ecology. Also ecology, when I'm speaking about changing this water law, they have what I think they consider the workaround to that, and that's the development of water trusts, which ecology will hold your water right if you're not using it. And you can claim it back, but they hold that water right, and then they allow sort of other people to use. A water trust is a little different than a water bank, but that requires a lot of trust for ecology to hold your water right in trust. Anyway, lots to say about that, and I gave you just 2 minutes of ADHD rank.
Those are good. Did you get all that, Tony? Right of enrichment.
Yeah.
So I think those are good points to include for sure. As far as where I hope we could align with other stakeholders.
Yeah, I think they're on the right track. I think that all of that sounds good, and right, like we can't put the cart before the horse, which is what we're trying to do when we have these sort of like, oh, we want storage, we want that, like, yes, we want all of that, and we don't have the ability to do that with our current law. Like we don't, I mean, I've been listening to people talk about water conservation and I love it. And like, that just is not going to happen until you change that policy, that law on use it or lose
It does happen, but it's not gonna be incentivized. to
No,
happen.
absolutely.
It's all like personal choice kind of conservation.
Right,
Yeah.
and
Which is
during,
happening.
and during adjudication though, that personal choice is being lessened because people are like, well. If
There's
I'm,
almost a penalty.
yeah, if I'm choosing to reduce my water usage, they're gonna decide I don't need that water when it comes to adjudication, right? And that's where ecology, you can step in and hold that part of your water right in trust, but a lot of people just don't trust ecology, for reasons. I'm not saying that they're
Yeah,
distrustful,
right,
but you know, it's a difficult time when it comes to
It's a
water.
bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Atul, did you have additional thoughts?
Yes, I do.
I'm sure.
No. So let's just, we should talk a little bit about our history, our traditions and, so. In, 2019, and before the adjudication was finalized, we put out a letter to Whatcom PUD and. Which, we assumed a neutral position on the adjudication, and, in, 2021, 22, 23, we under mostly John's leadership, from a request from the commission. Put forward numerous, state level policy changes. That would support the process of adjudication. In working with mostly our 42nd legislative delegation. In the development of that legislation, the creation of Superior Court, additional seat, which has had lots of unintended good consequences, by the way, by clearing the backlog and but anyway, that has really continued we have a long history before that of being an excellent partner to both tribes and agriculture. And that certainly has been maintained. And, mostly under John's leadership, with the guidance and sometimes, requests from the commission. So I just wanted to say that as a beginning point, and what we have now a new GM. And, you're gonna be our face in a lot of places. The most important thing to communicate at any public meetings on adjudication is that we are listening. Not that we're proponents, but that we are listening. This is a long process. And it's harder to communicate you're listening 2 years down the road. Especially if you come out of the gate throwing ideas. There's a lot of people in that room that are gonna wanna throw ideas. Let's let them. It's not like we don't have ideas. Not only do we have we at the PUD have had ideas, we've taken ideas from idea stage all the way through to delivery successfully without pissing anybody off. And that's exceptional.
We piss each
It's
other.
it's even more impressive than our win at the Blaine 4th of July parade. And it's something for us to do. We've got quite a legacy as an organization. So the most important thing I want to repeat again is for us to demonstrate at these public forums that we're listening, and we're listening hard.
Can I just add to that though, like, yes, we are listening, also roundtables are intended for discussion. He's speaking to a roundtable, so you can't fully be present at a roundtable without, you know.
I'm kind of bouncing that
Yeah.
conversation too.
Yeah.
Okay, so, not diminishing what else was said. Okay, so, the thing that has come up, on solutions. So the, county executive funded, has funded a lot as it relates to the, efforts related to the adjudication. One of the things that the county has stepped up for is funding a storage study. that has been truly beneficial.
Mhm.
There are other things that were well intentioned as far as county efforts that have had either neutral or maybe slightly negative impact. And one of those is hiring as consultants two former Department of Ecology consultants, directors of Department of Ecology to propose solutions, starting 2 years ago. And the response, and I think the rightful response, not from the PUD, but from the tribes have been, it's too early. Nobody's cards are on the table. I'm translating, by the way, a little bit simplifying their statement. Way I understand it, not speaking for anybody, way I understand it. So cards will be on the table in June of 2027. Once the cards are on the table, there's analysis necessary to figure out, okay, what is everybody saying they have? And then that will inform what kinds of solutions and what kind of sub-basins we propose. One of the things that's been central to the watershed management long-term effort, the technical teams, the watershed management team, the staff team, has been to embrace a sub-basins approach. It goes back with staffs at natural resources staffs at across of all the organizations on the watershed management board, years and years. So once we have the data, we'll be able to look at individual subbasins and come up with pathways that are appropriate for individual subbasins. And then of course we'll have some cross overarching big water solutions like big storage or tools that apply to all the subbasins like trusts and water banks and all that stuff. So I'm just going, what's important beyond this listening and analysis of setting up to listen as much as possible right now, being ready to drop analysis as soon as the filings are in. See, typically everybody's at this card game playing their own hand, right? The cards are on, but everybody wants to play their own hand, and we need to play our own hand too. There is a role for someone to do an analysis across all the hands to figure out what's the resource availability as it relates to the subbasins and overall. And that'll be a useful thing to start as soon as the filings are done in June of 2027. And between now and then, one of the things I think we can do is not exactly develop the solutions per se, but identify, as Jamie was pointing out, the barriers to the solutions we're going to need. We know kind of what kind of solutions we need. Let's figure out what are the things that are going to keep us from pursuing those solutions as it relates to water law. And that way you don't have to be a proponent of a particular solution yet, which is maybe a little bit more controversial. And you can focus on what are the barriers to those different solutions and get consensus around that.
That was a lot of words. Still a good mood.
What's that?
We still have a good mood. With all those words.
Yeah, good points.
I mean, I think that you kind of arrived at the same sort of conclusion, like we do want to participate in this discussion. And we want to be really clear that like all of the things that they're putting out there that are great solutions face a very significant obstacle that needs to be addressed.
What you said,
Yeah,
Well, all of them have obstacles, for
All
sure.
of
Not all of them have this exact same obstacles.
most of them that are on the list.
Yeah,
have
there's
the
some
same-
common obstacles.
Yeah. Mhm.
Cause I would just say, I mean, there's plenty of, wet solutions to consider that don't involve, would not be, I mean, the ones I guess that you could say maybe are the low-hanging fruit that you could, discuss and try to approach some consensus around, independent of, with the overhanging adjudication and, use it or lose it. It's natural solutions, it's public works that, and, conservation easements and, natural system restoration where,
Beavers.
flooding can recharge the aquifer, right, without anybody giving up any water, beavers.
Look into it if you don't know yet.
It is actually, yeah. Those things can help. They come with their own challenges, of course, because of, land uses, property rights, all of that, along, in the riparian areas and, throughout our, the agricultural lands for which the Nooksack is the lifeblood artery. Those I understand are things being discussed in, Water for Whatcom, this group of stakeholders, led by farmers, and then there's some well-known conservationists involved as well. And I think it's really promising that you'd have these stakeholders coming together and trying to really constructively work on solutions informed by the studies and everything that's been done. It's of course this is going to be an endless issue to work on, right? And there's no reason to wait, right? But yeah, just recognizing that until claims are filed, there's only so many things that can happen. What I was hearing from Carl and would like to talk to others more about too is and maybe we'll hear back, staff are engaged in this conversation leading up to the roundtable. One thing we could all agree that we should ask for the state is to support us in like locally led collaboration and trying to come up with consensus on solutions that could then be funded, right? And I know there's probably a ways to go in figuring out, exactly who will be funded and exactly for what and all that. But right now, I think, just supporting facilitation of locally led solutions and not ones that, not, just deferring to the state coming and, imposing or telling us, how we should fix the watershed. So that I think, to the extent that the PUD can engage in that while being, sensitive to, all of our own needs pending adjudication, right? I would encourage us to do that. And just looking for those places where it's low-hanging fruit and where it they could, we can find consensus with all the stakeholders, right? And build on that. And so, there's an opportunity here. I'd hope that we could what we could promote is in our feedback could be in alignment with all the local leaders there ideally. If like the roundtable, like there's just think about like at this high level, right? What are the notes, the takeaways going to be from the governor's staff? Is it going to be all these people arguing, or is it going to be all like a surprising amount of like people that are collaborating and finding things they agree on, right? Those are like that I think alone makes a major difference in how what the future funding landscape could be, and for for the county for and is there a place for us to to help with infrastructure for water storage and distribution and all of that in the future? Absolutely. And it's it's very long, that's long term. So but knowing that we're here and we're not trying to come and impose anything, but we do want to help.
Agreed. I also, it sounds like it doesn't sound like it. I've been in rooms with people on very different political spectrums, very different backgrounds that already are agreeing on what we do going forward, which is incredible because we don't agree on much, but we all agree that we need water for fish and farms and people. I mean, we do, we all agree on that. Everybody wants water. So because Carl had sent out each of us this sort of like, separately, mind you, what the ask is, like, how do you guys feel about that? About an office, like an office of the Nooksack led by ecology. I have in the past, you guys know, because I've said it out loud with my mouth, I'm not usually in favor of creating new offices for new people to talk about things that we've been talking about forever. Because it's like all that talk and nothing is happening. But I do think that an office of for the Nooksack that is staffed by perhaps ecology, if that's what people are working on, would be really beneficial to the process. Cause you're talking about analysis. Okay, great. Who's gonna do the work?
Mhm.
Right? Like, we need somebody to do the work, and obviously an
Yeah.
office for the Nooksack basin would be ideal and perhaps a good ask. You're gonna be at the round table, you're gonna be able to say your things. Maybe we're just hemming and hawing over here.
Yeah,
for-
at this
yeah,
particular, it
yeah.
really depends on what
Yeah.
the office does, and I think
Yeah.
I think I'm really curious about what everybody has to say about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to kind of say that, oh, it's a good idea no matter what. I wanna say that it depends on what it does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be our place to propose this. I understand that's a conversation happening. And, for good reason, there's reticence about, creating some new entity with authority. And would it be like how any new entity we create, like how different is that really from WIRA or other structures that already exist?
and doing the work.
I understand it drawing from, the Office of the Columbia, right, is, it's multi-county, multi-jurisdictional, but the Nooksack watershed falls almost entirely within Whatcom County. And so would this just be, an office in the county? I mean, yeah, I think that's one I don't think you're gonna find like consensus agreement on, to propose at this stage. So I'd be careful about that.
Oh, I'm not
But-
proposing anything.
yeah.
I think that's what Carl was saying is the
Right.
proposal though, is they're trying to coalesce behind this ask.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But I do like, I think that's in line with like drawing from, the success stories in, well, Yakima and,
Columbia.
what's the other one I was thinking of? Chehalis? No, Columbia?
Columbia.
Yeah, just the
You're
Columbia
talking about the
River,
Aquavella, is
Yeah,
that, yeah,
that is.
that's Yakima.
yeah, Yakima, and, yeah, recognizing that we're our own thing, so.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think, this is really gonna be an important area to engage in, and understand, well, you've been
I love
our
talking
lead on
water.
water,
it's my favorite thing.
so I hope that you can be, in touch with staff on this, sensitive to all, all the, external stakeholders and partners in this, and then knowing that we're having the staffing transition, right, where Rebecca's been the point on water and Andrew's coming on, I expect, so Tony, Rebecca, Andrew, all of you will be,
So
engaged leading up to this.
I'd like to explore some questions that, I think is important for us to explore. And it's really talking to you, Peter. So there's, you've got a certain amount of confidence in this, and it's obviously gonna become a lot more of your confidence as time goes forward. John was really, versed in the subject. And, John had support also from, I forgot the gentleman's name, who long ago, who retired, was our outside counsel in Skagit County. Your name, you know what I'm talking about? Nobody remember, I can't remember his name, you never met him.
No.
But anyway, and of course, we replaced that gentleman with Sarah Mack and. And of course, you've got a Sarah, and you've probably got the personal phone number of John. I know that they were asking for John's participation. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know, I assumed that, that was just his longstanding, position as legal counsel for the PUD. That was the extent of it, I haven't looked at it, whether there's been something more updated than that.
Yeah, of course, Carl was aware that John no longer works for the
Yeah.
PUD and that he's retired, and yet they were still, and so does Fred Lickle knows that. Yet they were, and of course, Bill Clark knows. So they were still trying to solicit his engagement. I don't know if this is a private citizen or if it's something that's through CSD and what Sarah's involvement. And, we have, as an organization, a lot of, depth, bench depth. on water. And with all of these retirements and changes, our outside law firm has a lot of depth. I acknowledge that, but they're in Seattle, you know. So just thinking about that, and what are we doing to maintain depth? Or develop depth if we don't have it. You know, I just, I think it's something that as a commission, so, you know, our legal, supports both the commission and the GM. It's a dotted line. So I personally have benefited tremendously over the years with having the ability to get input and guidance on these subjects. And, you know, this is a potentially meeting where something could be said that could be touchy.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
let me just say something since you were addressing some things to me. So CSD has a lot of depth. I don't have all the competence that John has certainly, but we are actually building it beyond just myself. You know, as you know, Sarah Fraze.
Yeah.
We brought an individual on who's actually participating, an attorney who has some experience with tribal law from New Mexico, and has been attending a lot of these meetings and not charging the steering committee. So we're building that. Personally, depth occurs from
Work.
doing discrete projects. You don't just, yeah, you know, you could do it on an academic basis, but you build it block by block by doing the work. And so, and you know, and things change. Yes, I know waters, you know, in other organizations I've been with, these discussions have been going a long time. But even though the landscape may not change quickly, it does change. And so this will be a new round of landscape creation, I think, whether it's this or whatever the case.
Is that
may be.
attorney from New Mexico youngish?
He is,
Good.
yeah.
Good.
Prior to,
That's important.
yeah, John retiring, I mean, it was like a year and he knew that he was going to retire. He was still attending conferences. I think there was one in New Mexico on Western water law.
Yeah.
So it just made me wonder if he was like maybe up for consulting work or something in the future. But also, we need to move on.
Well, but first, I wanted to settle now, who is representing the PUD in this conversation, and will Peter be there as legal counsel, or, I see Rebecca has her hand raised.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca.
I just wanted, yes, just to concur with you on how all of this planning has been going on. There is a Wire One Management Project website, and on that website, there's a lot of good information. One of the links to it is the Wire One Management Board Administration, and in that group, there's the work plan that the board has for this exact thing that you guys have been talking about. So if you'd like, I'll have Tony send you the link to that exact document if you haven't had a chance to look at that, because it's just been revised it was revised in 2025. So it's pretty current. The plan goes from 2025 to 2030, and it's looked at on a regular basis for updating. So I think there's a lot of good information there if you haven't had a chance to look at it about what you've been talking about here this morning. Just wanted to give you that opportunity.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you. Yeah, I absolutely welcome. I would love it if you could send us some information and background and any briefings on this. Granted, because I'm the newest one here, and
yeah.
I'm good. I reviewed it. I think Jamie has to review it for the meetings. So
Yeah, but I need some clarification on John's role.
yeah,
We all do.
that's what I was
Yeah.
getting to.
Yeah.
So what's
So I would say direction from the commission. I guess the two questions are, I mean, we need to find out, I don't know if you looked into it at all, but how that where the invitation came from, I don't know. So that's a question. The second thing is, what does what does the PUD want?
Oh, I mean, I'm open to recommendation from staff on this subject.
Okay.
But I wanna know, are they asking him as a private citizen? He can do whatever he wants as a private citizen, or are they asking him as, through us?
Yeah, that was unclear to me too. And I had emailed Carl back asking to talk more, because I'm also unsure. It seems like everybody knows that he's retired, so Rebecca still, she has her hand up
It
again.
might have been a mistake.
No, it's not a mistake.
No, it was intentional.
I thought I
Um,
lowered it. I'm done
Oh,
talking.
sorry. I thought maybe.
Sorry.
Thanks, Rebecca.
So I guess, have we gotten confirmation that John actually wants to attend? Or,
We don't,
We
we
don't
know,
know.
it's something you'll follow up on.
so he got
We have another
he
meeting.
received an invitation.
Yeah,
As well as, Tony and for our
Right,
behalf,
he
right?
appears to be on the.
He's on the
invited
invite
list.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we'll hear back on,
Uh,
at our next regular meeting, right?
It-
28th.
It doesn't really seem to make sense, especially if he's over other side of the mountains and retired, and, this is an in-person only meeting, and who knows if he even wants to, but it seems like, I guess the other question is like, so should Peter be there? And,
Are there any legal
or-
counsel or attorneys
Well,
present?
I don't know.
Or-
Yeah, I don't know that he was invited as the PUD's attorney or as like a respected sort of specialist in water law. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
So,
yeah, those
yeah,
are different things, yeah.
Very different thing.
It doesn't make sense for him to represent the PUD at this point. What I
Exactly,
think
yeah.
you're saying, Yeah.
I respect the point you made, but we should move on. I
Yeah.
did want to say one thing though, the Water for Whatcom and, I'm not used, I think the phrase you used, Eddie, it's promising. And it's also potentially hazardous.
Could be.
And there was a incident about a year ago where maybe a little over a year ago. When John was still very engaged, where there was a request for videos,
Mhm.
snippets, video vignettes, including coming to the commission for. For the promotion campaign for Water for Whatcom and all the Facebook ads that have been going out. And we told them hard no.
Mhm.
And the hard no is because we did not want to be quoted in somebody else's context.
Yeah. it's
You know, we
not
are the
right.
largest extractor of water from the Nooksack River. We have relevance all on our own. And we have a reputation all on our own that is probably, as far as, non-tribal entity, got the longest continuity and consistency of positioning.
And also
Right.
litigants and adjudication,
Right.
which we can never
So
forget.
we just want to be really, I just want to be careful in saying that, there were things that in the efforts in the solutions table that were not well received by all the participants, both in agriculture and in,
Right.
there's potential for that kind of toe stepping to happen in the Water for Whatcom effort too, and as well as the promotional campaign. So I just want to be clear, I'm
Yeah.
not, I see there are promises there, but I also see some hazards there too.
Yeah, I thank you for bringing that up, because, right, I think that the nature of, their public engagement as an entity, while, it's helpful to have, education, if they're an advocacy group, that's, but also have some, it's not appropriate for us to be part of, right? Like as a public entity, it's not appropriate for us to be part of Water for Whatcom, right? I'm just recognizing that it is a group that's formed and with some different folks that are talking, that's good. Also had some, I think some of their initial messaging, like it's time to negotiate, didn't strike me well, and a lot of others is like, well, what are they saying? It's not, it's time to file claims. So, but now, they changed that to it's time to collaborate. I just say it's the promising is like, let's see where this goes. And I guess my point was, since those are going to be the other participants in this roundtable, and just members of the public, right? That we, I would say I would hope that we don't, we're not like oppositional to them in the room. That's all I was saying. Yeah. And
He looks like he's gonna
Yeah.
cause problems.
Oh, I'm taking it all in.
Yeah.
What's,
I will be
what
opposition.
is your opinion on being a non-voting, but, listening participant in that group?
Well, do they have any kind of voting?
Um,
Just we don't have a membership, but why would we not listen? To your point earlier, we should be listening.
Oh, you mean
Yeah,
for Whatcom, the water for Whatcom, that's what you're talking
Yes.
about, and yeah, I think we should definitely be involved in every discussion, any discussion that we can be involved in. As a listener, a potential collaborator, right, but I don't,
But not writing checks.
yeah, or taking votes,
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess it's just important to recognize also, right, like. I'm not even sure what to call it, but it is in some sense, it's kind of like a coalition caucus in Wyra, right? And there are caucuses in Wyra, and there's these, and the Watershed Management Board, there's these public institutions where folks come to the table and talk and dialogue, right?
And we do take, there's a board where we do
and-
take votes.
Yeah, and then outside of that, there are non-public meetings, right, of the members and stakeholders, right? And I think it's helpful for those outside meetings to happen because it makes those public meetings, it can make them more constructive, right? If folks work things out before they come to the, and not just, like that can be conducive to and constructive, right? If they wanted to invite us to something, can consider, I'm just not totally clear on really even like how the organization functions at this point, but I guess like if there's an invitation
Yeah.
to meet.
So
and-
give me some leash here. I have to engage most of the people that are in that entity now individually,
Yeah,
whether it's a mayor or someone on the water board. It's my job to interact with those people
Mhm.
as individuals, right? So when they get together and they form a group like Whatcom for Water or Water for Whatcom, that kind of puts me, right, and us into a position of, well, we can't ignore them, and
No.
I have to listen to that group.
yeah, right.
Can I make a suggestion that's gonna help this meeting along too? I think that we should have a separate meeting about water. Where we all collaborate on what we see for the future of what, some especially for you, because you're just jumping into this, like, this is our stance, right? This is how we feel about water, so that when you're having conversations, you're not having conversations where you're like, I'm speaking on behalf of the commission. And I think that the solution is storage and that we should, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it feels a little awkward to me that you're getting invited to this roundtable for all of these discussions, and I don't know that I don't know that you're prepared. I don't know that you know what the rest of us have been talking about for priorities, or, there's also danger with adjudication that we don't say the wrong things in a meeting with people talking about water. Even so far, I campaigned 5 years ago, and I love talking about water. Again, it's like an ADHD hyperfixation for me. And I was told by everybody I talked to, Jamie, don't talk about water. It's a losing campaign trail. And that's because we have a very difficult time. Every single, entity in the county has.
You got
to
my
take-
one door slam when I
Yeah.
ran for reelection in 2024. I got one door slammed and it was water.
Water, yeah, but I think that it's time that we sat down as a commission to have this water conversation and like develop sort of key points for us. What we believe about water moving forward, what we see about water moving forward. Do you know what I mean? Like or at least the start of an agreement, because they want to have these roundtable discussions and they want to include the PUD. And I don't even know if all of us commissioners agree. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think that we
Right.
do agree on most of the things moving forward, but
That's the idea, though, is to narrow in on
Yeah.
what the consensus items
Right.
are
right.
and stick to those.
Yeah.
You're only gonna get like a small slice of time in this meeting. There's so many people participating.
Right, so I think it's a good idea and important that we sort of develop what we agree on.
Yeah, and so I guess to clarify, right, there were some bullet points proposed for, here's PUD's interest. Do we want to
Right.
support those? Stick to
Yeah.
those?
Well, those bullet points
Those
are
for
what,
the governor's
what the
website.
governor's office, what
Okay,
they,
those were-
yeah.
There was, okay. Yeah, I
And-
think there was some other.
That was a
things
starting point to just Hear a
all of this.
conversation between the three.
But wasn't there another, didn't we have one, was there an email or, there was,
Well, I sent you an email.
Yeah,
So, my interest as the general manager of this organization and running it as a business for the long-term 30-year haul is ensuring that we have access and adequate water supply to run our business,
yes.
right? And a set aside adjudication and all that, let's just say all that works out perfectly in our favor, great. How are we ensuring that we have adequate water supply to run our business? It's a business resilience problem for me, right? So that's a very just straightforward, look at,
And it's in there.
at how I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
but that's the business end,
Mhm.
right? There's a lot more complexities and I realize that at the community level. That's why we have commissioners.
yeah.
You're going to find yourself in rooms though, where people like maybe the county executive are like, well, the PUD has a lot of water that they're not using. Can we tap into that? And what he's speaking to is the inchoate water rights, but we don't
Sure.
talk about other people's
Right.
water rights when we're at a table anywhere, because
Yeah.
we're in the middle
There's
of
a lot of,
adjudication.
there's a lot of
Right.
well-meaning things that are said that cause problems.
Yeah, and it's dangerous.
I'm hearing you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and recognizing, I mean, okay, let's assume that, I mean, we're not assume how much the governor's staff know about the specifics of Whatcom County, right? Or the ecology staff were there, I mean, they may, but yeah, I mean, they need to come away understanding that, we, serve a lot of water and, to core and very important customers that rely on it. And because we're, I mean, the Nooksack at Ferndale where we draw from, right, is not where in-stream flows are as much of a problem as,
We're
north
at the
or
main
south
stem,
fork, right,
yeah.
at the main stem. And so, like, it's important that they understand, like, our needs are not really, are not, or should not be in conflict with others, right?
Right.
And, those are just like core things, right? It's just like premises, and we're open to be part of solutions. We're not set on a plan by any means at this point, but if they want to throw out, oh, what if the PUD does this or that, it's like open to it, but we're not like.
Right.
If I may,
Yeah.
because of this being on the legal side, I mean,
Yeah,
I think there'll be a limited, I don't know how many people are gonna be sitting around this round table, but I think
Like
you,
25
if
people.
you wanna focus, you're gonna have like three sentences that you're gonna be able to say. And so to really focus in, maybe more, so keep that in mind. But I think the first sentence might be something like, we're in the middle of adjudication. We're a huge water supplier, we're not gonna talk about that, we hope that this is looking more broadly, and that way. You might deflect some of those questions that you might get. Anyway.
I think
just an
that's
idea.
wise from a
Just-
legal
Because
standpoint.
you're
Yeah.
hitting it from a couple
Yeah.
approaches, you're showing how important it is to the PUD, this whole process. And you're saying, but we're not gonna talk about those things, because that wouldn't be appropriate.
Right.
Anyway, just an idea.
Just some,
Yeah.
gossip that, I
Oh,
think is
no, not
appropriate to share is that there's,
listening.
the T is that, that the governor's effort is, a reconsidering. There's a reconsidering of the August 13th meeting, or at least scaling it down, and at least who shows up for the 13th. That's just gossip. I don't know, can't verify or validate any of that. Just things I heard. So, I
On
think
the
the 17th,
13th?
I think the 17th is the more important meeting, the local meeting.
The
Yeah,
17th is.
okay.
That's the one we want to prep you for, so we should schedule a special meeting. And, probably a Zoom meeting, an hour or two, to have that conversation between now and August 17th.
We have a regular meeting before, right?
Yeah, or we could attach to a
Between-
regular meeting, it doesn't matter.
Should that be something that well, no, because it's gonna be a long discussion. I just want to be sensitive to the fact that we will be talking about some, I mean.
Part of it could be executive.
In executive session.
Yeah.
Okay. And we might want to think about that if we don't do a.
You guys can
special
figure that
meeting.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you see the need.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind, a presentation of some sort, I don't know, to like set up our discussion and recognizing, if we have Rebecca here for a little bit longer,
Yeah.
hearing more from her would be great. And, but yeah, it's up to, of course, it's up to you to decide who staff are, engaged in this. But yeah, I mean, I guess if we need a special meeting, I'm willing to, if we can just carve out time at the next couple of regular meetings,
The problem is we've had some, I mean, we decide not to have a special meeting and then we take an hour talking about the things and really the meetings are to allow the work of the PUD to get done. Like they're not intended to allow business meetings, are not intended to allow for really broad discussion.
Okay.
And I think that we are creating a situation where we're having these long discussions and it's not friendly for people who try to stop in and like
Yeah.
participate, you know what I mean? I think it would be
Yeah,
great
yeah,
that we
yeah.
take this offline.
Okay, so when were we thinking then for that? Like when we?
I'm available, I mean, maybe somebody can shoot us some dates that
Yeah.
other people
And
are,
typically you like afternoons on Friday afternoons, right?
yes.
Yeah.
I see Joseph has your hand up.
Yes, commissioners, to that end, if we want to move forward, let me chat with Tony when we're done here today, and I can get a look at some dates, and Jamie, just let me know what your best availability is, and we'll put something together on the calendar before the August meeting.
Okay, yeah, it's usually Friday
Okay.
afternoon for me, if that works, if we can find one that works, otherwise I'll figure it out.
Okay, thank you.
We're looking at first half of August though.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Was that enough for now? Like on?
You want more, cause we've got more, right, Eddie?
Didn't
We've got
expect
more.
much conversation about it today.
Sorry.
Oh, I think
No, that's fine.
I told you it was gonna be we were gonna talk, so.
It's a good thing to talk about.
Which we
It's our core business. We need to be talking.
We are a
about.
water
There's something to talk
utility.
about.
I wanna say let's take a 5-minute break
Okay,
and then
yeah.
reconvene for old business.
All right.
Just. Everyone may stand to his place. We will reconvene at 9:42. And we are now resuming our regular meeting, and we'll move on to old business. It's a broadband update.
Sure, I don't have much for an update, but I will share with you that the PUD and the port and all staff and and also from the Lummi tribe met and discussed, potential next steps for broadband in the community. And parallel to our Point Roberts project where we completed the design work, that the port also has their North Linden and their Ferndale project, which is approaching the deadline that we were faced with as well, which is originally end of this year, but there's a bit of an extension through the summer of 2027. And so the tribe and some other local ISPs are interested in maybe helping the port tackle that project rather than just walk away from it. So during that meeting that we had, the port offered to provide their design work to whoever's interested in maybe trying to get something built by the end of the timeline. And we also offered the same we offered to anyone as well if they're interested in Point Roberts, but ours is technically wrapped up. We don't have an existing project, whereas the port, they haven't closed out their contracts yet. So there's an opportunity there if they want. There's also a Whatcom telecom meeting, I think this Thursday at 9:30. I'll be attending that, and that's the update. I'll take it over to Tony.
Well, hope that all the good work you've done can still be put to good use. Do we have any thoughts or comments on that?
I just have one question, and it's like, any update on us needing to return funds to the county?
No update, but I can tell you where we are in the process.
Okay.
We've submitted our reconsideration letter, and the county forwarded that to the appropriate federal staffers.
Oh, gotcha.
And I haven't seen a response since then, and that's been a couple weeks now, so.
Tony are having introductory lunch with Sut Paul tomorrow.
Oh, nice. Oh, good. Yeah, I had
Be
a,
nice.
but thanks for setting that up, because I think I told Sap Paul I would if you didn't, so good. Cool. Awesome, and
One of the things I'd like to say is that an interesting thing is that relates to this question raises to what degree is the work we've done today beneficial for future projects? And I think to a significant degree. I'm getting nodded heads now
Yeah,
from people.
I mean,
know
of course it is,
100,000
yeah,
times more than I do on it, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
go with that.
yeah.
So,
I mean,
Yeah.
so if the Lummi decides that maybe they want to serve Point Roberts, or it sounds like there might be conversations about that,
Yeah, yeah,
certainly they
yeah.
can use the data that we have.
well, analysis and.
Yeah.
And maybe some permits too.
Yeah, okay, anyway. That's
So-
good. That's great, thanks.
yeah, yeah.
And I felt really
We can talk
privileged, I sat in on that meeting, that occurred, and I did I do an okay job of keeping my mouth shut?
Yes.
Good, thank you, Andrew.
I
That
don't-
means something
I
to
don't-
me. I mean, you need, Peter would have had to attend and produce an affidavit saying, I hear PeterRavada say the tool did a good job keeping his mouth shut.
You're right.
Then would you believe it?
Maybe. if
Then
there was
maybe
some
you'd believe
affidavit.
it. Okay.
So let's move on to our adjudication update.
All right, I don't have anything for an adjudication update. I don't think the staff does.
I can briefly,
Okay.
address it, and so they had the traveling court yesterday, I don't know if any of you attended, but, I got a little update from that, and, so the steering committee hearing was in Linden. And my report from Sarah was that they're still mainly now grappling with technology issues around discovery and whatnot, so
Gotcha.
that's the extent of the update. But, yeah, so
Great,
they are getting around the county, I guess, to do the hearings.
that's good.
When you say traveling court, I imagine a judge on a stage with a horse and there's a wooden box. I know. I'm all decorated traveling courts, traveling court show.
wish it were.
Well, all on that, then we can move right along, and to new business with first order. Authorize the cancellation of warrant number 0127777 to Fire Pro. Stephanie?
This was just a warrant that got lost in the mail. They haven't received it in a couple months, so I went ahead and voided it. And then we ended up paying on credit cards, so we don't have to reissue it or anything.
Oh, great.
I'll make a motion to approve action, the cancellation of warrant number 0127777 to Fire Pro.
I will second that.
Thank you, commissioners.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Approved. No fiscal impact. And now,
Our next hour-long discussion.
yeah, we'll review new resolution to be introduced on large electrical load policy, and start with our staff report.
So I asked Andrew to draft a policy document for your review. The intention is not to seek approval today, it's just to give you a chance to look at it, discuss it. Give us some good feedback, and potentially come back at the next commission meeting with for approval, if we're getting close to that mark. The document and I forwarded this to you for read ahead.
Yeah.
But it still maintains the same principles that we went over at the last meeting. If there's a large new customer for electrical service, they either have to pay for the connection to bring on power, or they need to self-generate and pay for that. But those are really the basics. this is really well written, in my opinion, what Andrew put together. But in summary, it just really revolves around those basic ideas that if you want it, you have to pay for it, one way or the other.
And it can't
And it
impact
cannot
other.
negatively impact our current rate customers or negatively impact our system, right? Current or future. So, and there's still discretion within the way this is written for, the commissions to still, disapprove or approve. So there's a lot of latitude in this document, for a large new customer that doesn't lock you into taking a position on anything other than a large electrical load.
Right. I appreciate that. I also appreciate that you shared some policies from other
Mhm.
PUDs. I thought that was interesting to review where they're at. I thought it was interesting that Chelan sort of like just put out there that data centers are here. I don't think that we should frame ours around data centers.
Ours is simply framed around large electrical
Large,
loads,
yeah.
right? That could incorporate, I mean,
Yeah.
10 megawatts is actually not a huge amount of power if you're trying to do anything at scale, right? So, we just consider that we align with the BPA benchmark, what that means. But a lot of businesses can come in and want 10 megawatts or more of power, right?
Right.
If we wanted to build a small community college, they would need 10 megawatts of power.
Right.
Well, yeah, this is great. Good job. The staff that worked on this and well, okay, Atul, would you like
I have
to?
a few questions about the memo. I'm zooming in on where I see may, must, and also the word rules. And I don't have any issue with this. I think we had a little bit of an email exchange of, I just want to make sure these are the words you really want. So to me, I'm interpreting rules as kind of like a must, if you know what I'm saying, is not so much a may. And so I just want to make sure that that word rules is the right word. Because when it comes to may, I think that's more guidance. And where the item number one's must, that's more of a rule. And it's just semantics. And I just want to make sure that you vetted this policy document to make sure that there's no ambiguity, confusion, and the way it presents, or the ambiguity is intentional.
Yeah, well, first, the word business rules or rules is intentional. For a large load, these are the rules. You either have to pay everything that's associated with your interconnection. I don't think we should use the word may or have ambiguity there in which myself or somebody in the future could somehow slide that over to our existing customers, right? That ensures protection to the concept of what we're proposing sticks, right? And but also business rules are a defined term within the business world, right? That tells us what to do. Cool. And that's the purpose of this document, is to provide the guiding policy for us to act on. And those have to be a set of business rules and with as little ambiguity as possible, right? I don't think there's a lot of ambiguity in this document.
So could you explore then for that same statement, numbers 2, 3, and 4, where there does say may, and so that's why I'm asking the question. So maybe those.
He's just referring to the email that was sent, not that this is not the actual recitals or, yeah.
You're talking about the exhibit A, right?
Yeah.
And where there's the use of must
Must and may, yeah.
and.
No, that's not what, so he's referring to the email that was sent originally, not the recitals at all.
Yeah, but exhibit A, the large load electrical. Low electrical pump. Oh, sorry, you're talking about from our last meeting?
Yes, the commit, yes.
But maybe
Right,
maybe my comment is irrelevant because the cover letter is not the actual language.
This is right.
Right, but that's from our previous meeting.
Yeah, that's from the previous meeting.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
To engage you in a conversation.
Yeah, let me take that back.
Right.
yeah, I think that's actually the minutes of the previous meeting.
It is, yeah.
But no, but I mean, what you were,
And you did describe it during that
yeah.
meeting, the last commission meeting, some of the ambiguity.
Yes,
And so we, I think, resolved that ambiguity
Okay.
in
That-
the draft action memo.
I
that
think it
Andrew put
was,
together.
yeah, I think it.
well, but there is. I mean, I'm not sure if it's ambiguity, as, you know, I understand things are written with intention, but,
Oh, I see.
but it does, you know, well, it says like where it's, you know, each large load must be served under an individually negotiated written agreement. Must provide or pay for all power supply and delivery requirements in order to serve the load. That seemed to be.
Yeah, I don't know, I missed it.
Appropriate.
A lot of paper.
I did note in the,
I withdraw my comment completely.
It's okay.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that, right, cause
It's here, it's tight.
I would, I mean, not like being like a stickler on, you know, wording or whatever, but you know, like for like in section 4, I noticed like, I mean, where it says like, no large load shall be served except under an individually negotiated written agreement. Is that like, can we just say large loads will be served under individually negotiated, or like, I don't know, it's
Well, the rest of the sentence, you have to finish the sentence.
you have to finish the
right?
sentence.
In the manner required by district policy that you set
Yeah,
and applicable law. Right,
Yeah, I would just say it as like large, like where it's in the, like in section 5, where it's like large load service shall be structured. Large load service shall be under an individually negotiated written agreement. I don't know, it just sounded, it was more just like what I, you know, it.
take the sharp language off, is that what you're saying?
I don't, it doesn't even matter, I just like if
no,
our.
keep the
you know,
sharp language. Are you just saying that like the one is sort of like positive, like large load?
Yeah, just like
service,
active
but
language.
yeah, instead of
versus, like,
starting with
starting
no but load, but more.
Like, I guess it's like, I guess there's like an intention around saying things like.
Yeah,
None shall be except under, or none shall be unless, or only if, or like. You know,
I
like,
understand what
guess
you're
is
saying,
it,
yeah.
Which is fine, I mean, it has the same meaning, but, yeah, I guess,
Do you understand what he's saying?
Yes.
Okay.
but then again, I mean, that's, I mean, yeah, it means the same thing, but, cause all of this is stipulated as like, it's like, and if we are going to serve large electric loads, then all of this, right? And that's what it all says, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is well laid out. I mean, I think the core principles, like we discussed before, are reflected. We are not going to, or we are going, I like to, use the active for active, not the negative, right? We're going to ensure that, any new service does not pass a cost burden on to existing customers. You know, we're not gonna raise costs for our existing long-term reliable customer in order to accommodate a new one. It's reasonable. I'd heard from staff at Phillips 66 when this conversation first came up. They're really interested and in our. They want to be want to have opportunity to, you know, provide feedback on any policies we adopt. So I did want to make sure that, you know, there was adequate time to do that and we not just like rush to approve something, even if we expect that this is all going to be amenable and welcomed by them, that, you know, they still have a chance to offer input, and, you know, sometimes that can take a little time. Staff might be on vacation, who knows, so I just wanted to make, you know, leave that out there and say, I hope that if Phillips 66 has feedback they'd like to offer, that's invited. And
I would like to know who at Phillips 66, and they're welcome to call me.
okay, yeah. Have you heard anything from them about any of this, or?
No.
We have a tentative meeting on the 22nd with public relations, but not their.
Yeah.
Wait, on the
22nd, yeah.
You do?
I'm trying to set up a meeting with Tony and the public relations people, not their staff people. I mean, so. It's different, that's
so-
different, whole different window. I'm just bringing it up.
Yeah, so I heard from Josh there, who's their environmental manager, but was taking on some of the responsibilities of
Yeah, he's much more relevant.
Yeah,
to this stuff.
Lisa, their public affairs officer is off duty, and he was picking up some of the public
Cool.
affairs task, and so had been, has been watching our meetings. So, that was, yeah, I think, he had caught that conversation and wanted, just
That's awesome.
put it out there.
I totally agree that when we create new policy that could impact stakeholders, that they have, that we read them into the conversation.
Right,
But I also am wary of making it sound like we're letting customers write our policy. Like they can tell us we like this or we're worried about this, but like at the end of the day, our policy is our policy, and
sure.
large corporations don't write the PUD's policy.
No, they don't write it, but
Yeah.
the point is we welcome feedback from stakeholders when we
welcome
make
feedback.
policy, and in this case, the main stakeholder is our existing electric customer.
Right,
So.
but to be clear, all of that is daylighted, and they don't get to be like, I actually really don't like this one thing, or can you please add this one thing? Do you understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying here?
For
That
sure.
like BP is a customer, and I respect that, and again, they're a stakeholder, and we want to keep the lights on for them and all of those things. And private conversations with large corporations on policy, they don't get to write the policy. They don't get to change the policy. Our policy has to serve Whatcom PUD first. You're looking at me like I'm crazy, but I think this is something we should all agree on, that large corporations don't write the PUD's
Yeah,
policy
yeah.
on
And I don't think
Yeah.
Eddie was, Eddie was just talking about public.
just
part of it.
sharing with them, not that they get to change language.
No, I don't think,
Yeah,
I don't think
Yeah.
that's what you're meaning at all.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I don't even know if there will be, if they have specific feedback, it could just be, yeah, looks good. The point is that it's why I didn't want to just rush to approve this right away
Sure.
at first reading, because we're
Yeah,
making
I think it's
policy.
good. I think that's good.
And if they have information, if they have feedback, like it should happen in this meeting.
Or,
No.
I mean, you mean in this,
It should
Yeah, but
happen
this-
publicly.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, to
okay.
give them an opportunity to bring feedback into a public meeting. I just meant
Yeah.
if this came out on the agenda on Friday
Yeah,
and,
okay. I just
it's-
want to be clear that it happens here where everybody can see it,
Yeah.
because
So-
otherwise that makes me
so-
very.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
yeah. I'm just saying I wanted to give notice and say, and put it out there that, we should be, welcoming input from our stakeholders.
Sure,
And it could
absolutely.
just be on,
Where are they?
well,
That's a good question.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll work this in the background and with our customers, right?
Yeah,
And ask them to provide input in this forum if they feel it's warranted. The way the business rules are written in this draft. It's indifferent to whether it's a new customer or an existing customer that wants new load.
Mhm.
And these terms are very straightforward and very industry standard. We didn't invent anything new. None of this should surprise anybody, P66 or any potential customer.
Yeah.
right? So, but, we'll reach out to them and ask them if they have, some input to please attend and provide us some input. I'm happy to listen. I'd love to know if they think that there's something in here other than, hey, you gotta pay everything up front, just like anybody else.
right.
That probably isn't gonna make anybody happy, but that's pretty standard.
That's
across the
standard for us.
country, yeah, so, we're not inventing anything new.
Or nor is it different than what we've done.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
I wanna bring us, regarding public input, I just wanted to, flag that, I mentioned it before, there's lots of community interest all over the country, certainly in our state.
Sure.
And, I had a conversation with, Rep. Dolio on this at the conference. And she put forward a piece of legislation on this particular subject, which was, ended up, not, getting passed. And, city of Seattle and other things, I've done things, I just want to say, I really like the way we're doing it. It's far less political and it's far more rational, what we're doing here. So regarding public input, I think that it's important to, try it as, I mean, I want the commission to consider whether we want to communicate that we're about to adopt a large load policy. Whether that's something we should post about or not. And just give the public an opportunity, of course, our customers and the public an opportunity to provide input if they want. You know, I don't know if we want to do a formal hearing or not. I'm just suggesting that it's something for us to discuss right now.
Yeah,
Or how do we want to deal with public input? And then after we're done with this, this top at the end, I have an adjacent thing that Peter and I had some dialogue on related to this topic that I want to bring up later.
So. I don't know if we need to do any kind of special, like general. Like anything outside of, you know, our typical process, which is, you know, say at the next meeting in 2 weeks, we have public comment and. Folks know this will, they'll have more adequate time to have seen that it's on the agenda and time to look at it, and if there's any comment, they can comment. I don't think we need to do like a special.
Okay.
Public hearing on this, and recognize that if, you know, folks then hear about it too late, you know, we can always. Amend policy, right? Like this is an open thing. This is establishing what our policies are, and that, you know, that's not the end of any kind of public. Input into us, but my point with this was just, you know, this was an area I'd heard that there was interest in, and just one that on principle it seemed like not, you know. I guess procedurally, we could just adopt this today, right? There's nothing that keeps it like, as this form of resolution doesn't require a 2-week, right?
yeah, no, it doesn't, but I mean, I think it's fine that we wait and
I
that
think
we allow
Those are our
people,
intentions.
yeah.
Yeah,
Have a conversation.
I like that
and
approach.
not
I like
see-
us doing it this way. Yeah, right, yeah.
yeah, I mean, if we wanted to. I mean, yeah, I don't know if is this something we want to announce or not, or I don't, or.
That's kind of what I'm asking.
I
put it up.
I don't think that it needs to be announced, and the thing that I mentioned at the very beginning of this conversation, the thing I like about this resolution is that it's not framed as being responsive to data centers, because it's not for us. Chelan may have had a different experience because they're building a data
They
center.
already serving data.
Yeah.
centers,
So, and this, I mean, we had, you know, Intelco here that tried to get a lot of power from, which we were unable to accommodate in any sort of, it wasn't financially feasible, but like, there are other people, other organizations, other, you know, large corporations that may want power from us for very different reasons. So it's good to be thoughtful about that before it happens, so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, right,
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
And I didn't mean to offend you, I just wanna make sure that any feedback that we have happens right
Yeah.
here in the open, so that there's no doubt that this is ours. Yeah,
oh, sure, yeah, and, yeah, it is, I mean, yeah, it was reflected from, you know, the. Guidelines we gave, and this reflects this in this resolution, it's what we asked for, it's, you know, it's simple, straightforward, and it simply really just reflects just the material constraints that we have in a practical way, as far as what a
Right.
new large load customer should expect in seeking service, but to make it clear upfront.
Yeah, you know, we recently, I can't recall the name of the party, we had a landowner wanting to understand, some of this information, right? If they were seeking a potential buyer for their property, wanted to develop a property, right? And, so, this is the type of information that serves our customers in general, everybody in the county to understand this. You could own a 100-acre property somewhere and need to understand, well, what's it look like if I sell it? Who am I looking for to market my property to? Right? There could be no known company or endeavor in mind yet. You just need to know that.
Mhm.
And our existing customers who may want to expand their businesses, and if they hit this threshold, they need to understand that. And just as importantly, we need to understand how we communicate that and what we're communicating to our potential customers, right? Or existing customers. And so this gives us those pathways to educate the consumer as well as our own staff on how to approach this. So.
Exactly, yeah, which is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly reflects the need, so that there's clear expectations.
Yeah, and it's completely void of land use and any.
Right. I was really, you wrote this, I was really impressed with it. There's nothing that I would see that would need to be changed.
I really, yeah, I like the effort too. It's like, what I wanna, maybe not, I won't say this, but I had this feeling that.
He's gonna say it anyway.
To the community, something along the lines of, we got this.
Yeah.
And I feel good about that. Yeah.
Okay, so everybody will sleep on it and
Yeah.
the next commission meeting, we'll present it for review and approval.
Mhm.
At the next
It'll
meeting.
haunt my dreams for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and
I've got an adjacent topic that I'd like to bring up now. It's not another agenda. item,
you
just
think it's
some-
related to this agenda
it's-
item?
Yeah, it is directly related to this agenda item.
Sure.
So, Peter, would you just summarize it? That way it'll be the most efficient probably. So the email, and the email I sent about, the RCW regarding planning.
Yeah, so, and I can share some of this, because it's, some of this was done under attorney-client privilege, but I'm not concerned about this, so, in connection with this. Very early on in this large load policy discussion, I provided a memo under attorney-client privilege that kind of puts the parameters, some of the parameters around in a certain area of land use. And Commissioner Deshmani identified a statute and some very interesting language in the statute that talks about planning powers of a PUD. It's in the PUD statute. So it kind of raises this question, well, what's that about? And I don't have all the answers. We did cite to it in the memo because the last line of that statute says that the PUD does not have the power to adopt or enforce land use, comprehensive plans, building codes. But they didn't see fit to repeal what was above it. So there's this question mark that talks about the PUD having the sort of a role as a planning commission. Now, I didn't do a deep dive into how that may have evolved since it was passed in 1935 and how that aligns with changes in the land use statutes, the Planning Enabling Act in the 1940s, the GMA in the 1980s. So, and so where I go with that is, the PUD has the ability because of these other statutes to influence land use, right? And so I don't know if that.
Yeah, that's really,
captures-
yeah, and it's essentially how we've been operating, by the way, without having, maybe not being aware of that statute, meaning this process, a great example is the comp plan.
Yeah.
Where, council members got input first from our GM, and then later from me, and then most recently from you.
Yeah, informational input.
And we're providing an advisory function on matters relating to utilities. On the subject of land use, but not making any policy ourselves on it. So I just wanted to make sure that I covered that, and I was just trying to understand. It doesn't pertain to this policy, but it came up a direct consequence of this conversation on this policy, large loads. Just wanted to share that. Because you weren't part of that back and forth with Peter, that's my usual.
Right.
It's interesting. I'd like to see that I'd like to see the RCW for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you
just,
don't mind.
it's interesting. And I'm sure it has to do with just the landscape has changed since the 1930s. When PUDs were, we created PUDs to bring electricity to rural areas, and they were generating electric, and they were, it's what the people wanted. It was like the first initiative, right? In
And
Washington
naturally,
State,
there
yeah.
were land use
Yeah.
nexuses there.
Right, so, but the landscape has changed, so, yeah, that's just a fun fact, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, and where, as necessary, right, where, our needs in, developing and maintaining infrastructure and, rights of ways and
Yeah, that's
all of that, right? We're sometimes gonna have to engage with the county on land use. Or, you know, stake our interest, right? Or, you know, future development of, you know, energy infrastructure or what have you, right?
Yeah, thanks for entertaining that sidebar. I just wanted to make sure I got
Uh,
that. So,
But, on, you know, yeah, but, keeping in our core mission, so. Are we ready to move on?
Yeah.
Commissioner reports, Commissioner Arnett?
Yeah, I don't believe I have anything to report because a lot of what I was going to talk about, we've already discussed, mainly water stuff. So I'm super happy to see a meeting going to be put together so I can talk about water. Yeah, thanks for coming to the 4th of July parade. I will say that I am tomorrow morning headed to Copalis Beach. I hope I said that right. So I don't know how available, I don't even know what my internet situation is. We'll be glamping. So I don't know if I'll be able to go to the meetings or not yet. The meeting.
Oh,
the
the
Wapuda
Wapuda
meetings.
meetings.
Okay.
So maybe I can,
yeah, ping either one. of us.
yeah, if I don't have capacity.
If you wanna just delegate to one of us to be on for a committee.
So who's my second? It's just, so committee meetings are great. I do the water committee, but
He's the alternate for.
yeah, but the board, it's really important that we do have representation for
Yeah.
the board meeting.
I think I'm your alternate.
I think you're so will you just make sure that you've
I'm
got the
there.
agenda
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the doc, okay,
Yeah, I'll be there.
great, that's it.
That's Friday morning.
I'm not going in person, I'm attending by Zoom. It is
Yeah.
going
He'll
in
be
person.
zooming in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do plan to go in person, you know, I've been looking forward, all year to, making the trip out to Okanagan and just.
Yeah.
Visiting our neighbor county.
Yeah.
Mountains and.
Yeah, it's funny, they are our neighbor county.
They are, you don't
Long
think of it,
way.
but, and it happens to be in the time of year I can drive straight across the pass on the beautiful Highway 20, so.
You aren't gonna hike it?
I mean,
Start
you should.
That's what I would've done.
If you could bike.
That's what I would've
you
done.
could, You know, it's probably a 50 distance, 200 miles, you know, a bit, yeah, so been looking forward to that, and then the following week, Tri-Cities for the, Energy Northwest Board of Directors meetings.
Okay.
So we spend a lot of time in the east side of the state the rest of the month. And, yeah, I'm just gonna attend, I think, Energy and Policy Committee, Commissioner Education, I'll be there for the board meeting too.
Just have lots of water.
If you need me to,
okay,
uh,
great.
yeah,
I just wanna say one thing too, I was sad to see a message from, that Liz
Liz
Green
Green
had passed away,
Suddenly.
suddenly over the weekend. She was a force at Wapuda. I didn't always agree with her, sometimes pretty vocally did not agree with her. But she was very much a champion for maintaining, public control and I learned a lot from her.
Yeah, I think it's appropriate for us to take a minute to acknowledge
Yeah.
and Liz Green and what a wonderful person she was. And I'll give you a little story. So you all know that I had a close relationship with Commissioner Jim Waddell from who also passed. From Cloud. And you know, there's probably no two people more on opposite sides than Liz Green and Jim Waddell. Really, like on this one, the issue of the Snake River dams, like completely on the opposite sides of that. And what I remember and most touched by is the multiple times where Liz made sure that Jim had a chance to speak. And that is a testament to Liz. It's a testament to Wapuda, the culture we create within that body. Even with disagreement, there's respect. And yeah, I mean, she really represented to me what it was to be a commissioner.
Yeah.
And yeah, wish I could hug her again.
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry that I haven't been able to go to commission or Waputa meetings recently and argue with her, so
Yeah,
definitely miss her.
It's also very saddened to hear of Commissioner Green's passing. For those that don't know, Skamania County PUD Commission, and she was also the president of Washington PUD Association during the pandemic, I believe. And yeah, I always really appreciated her in our meetings and personal conversations. Glad that we had the opportunity to connect in the times over the last year. I know that she suffered from Parkinson's like my mother, and we had good conversations about our own, our health challenges and in public service. She's it was just very did not expect at all. So I'm sure there will be Waputa it's a community, and yeah, I expect we'll be able to honor her there at this meeting, but there's going to be a bit of a cloud hanging over this midsummer Waputa meeting for sure. And glad we could acknowledge that and pay our respects. And I also wanted to acknowledge another passing in our community from just a few weeks ago. Unexpectedly, a BP employee, a former county employee who I'd worked closely together with on policy some years ago, Jeff Chalfant.
really?
Yeah, Ferndale resident. He was killed in a vehicle collision right out in front of his home on June 21st.
I'm sorry.
And I heard there's services this Thursday, but he's I know, yeah, very just
Great guy.
just really good man in his prime, and just I don't know, just where we're in a public forum and it feels just like appropriate to acknowledge him and his distinguished record of service and all he's done for the community, and I know he's going to be missed. And folks I know who attend these meetings, I'm sure knew him well too, and that's just very sad for the loss. So and for his family. So there's I don't know if I had other things to report today.
Yeah, we just took it down.
I know we did.
Yeah,
I know,
sorry about
but I'm
that.
glad.
Yeah.
I do appreciate you acknowledging this too, just because. What else can we do? So,
Yeah.
Did you have more to report, Atul? Did you?
I did. I attended the Industrial Symbiosis Conference. My report isn't quite done. I'm waiting for a little bit of information from the the presentation packet, and I should be getting that this week, and I'll include that in my report. The central thing that I want to highlight is there's a consultation from the Department of Commerce. I've had multiple interactions with Tony on this subject on planning industrial symbiosis projects in Whatcom County. I was under the impression originally that nobody was responding, so I wanted us to get on it. That's why we had that ad hoc special meeting, but we were delighted to find out that the port did grab that ball. The port was highlighted at the conference and really got a lot of positive press for their Corix project. And the PUD actually has a little bit of a role in that. And that is that, there's a lot of good ideas out there. And Chris built a really trusting relationship with Rob at the port. And Rob basically in one of my interactions said, I want someone to vet this. And I said, well, we got the person to vet this, and so that's what we're here for. And so I suggested he spend time with Chris, and they went through the whole project before they started digging and so Chris was a behind the scenes a helper in getting that project through. And so that project received quite a bit of focus at the event, Yeah, the whole idea of combined heat and power, our new GM is also, very, very solid in that subject, so. Now, there's some wonderful opportunities. The thing that, really has drawn my attention, to where I'm at today, after now 2 weeks after the actual conference, and I wanna share this with you too, is that there is an advantage. And we talk about engineering stuff, like thermodynamics and energy efficiency, right?
Totally hot stuff.
That totally hot stuff, and that's true. But collaboration between different industries, businesses, building different things, yeah, there's some. You got this waste, I can use that waste for me, and I've got something you can use, that kind of thing that's super cool. What I'm even more interested in is the benefit of, multi-party planning. Because, we suffer in our communities, we all know, from resistance to proponency. And this applies across the board. It can public sector initiatives, private sector initiatives. There's this resistance to anybody who, hey, I want to do this. I want to build this. The immediate response is, well, you're doing it for yourself or something. That kind of, there's immediate, or immune response by community to anybody's proponency, even of the best intentions. And so one of the things I'm really, really curious about is, how about if a group of entities, public, private, doesn't matter, start proposing things as a group? And how will that be received? And I'm thinking that maybe some of that you're doing it just for yourself kind of backlash, will be harder to do when it's a group of entities. And there's a framework for this, it's called community benefits agreements. There's a framework for this, it's community development agreements. And it doesn't have to be kumbaya, it can actually be real business doing this kind of a thing, which ends up being kumbaya-ish. Because all these businesses are benefiting from development. And obviously, PUD's focus is, of course, Cherry Point, and the port's responsible for the entire county. So, I want to see economic development in Whatcom County. I want to see enlightened economic development in Whatcom County. And so industrial symbiosis is one kind of approach. But I'm also interested in the bigger picture understanding of how we can develop things together for everyone's benefit. Really implement this old adage, a rising tide lifts all boats. So I just wanted to say that. And so I really thank you guys for proving me going. It was very good for me as a person, and hopefully I'll bring that back in terms of so that's some of that inspiration to the organization.
I like it. Looking forward to your report on it.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And of course, I'm attending the PUD meetings.
Well, thank you for that, and where there's future opportunities. I appreciate you looking out, and if we can help, play a role, bringing some funding in that supports and benefits our customers as well, right? I dialed into a webinar for what's it called again? The IST, so yeah, interested to see where there might be, needs some time to bake in the oven, I guess, like in future round, but that would, we'll keep an eye out. So thanks for keeping on that.
Yeah, I mean, they were trying to solicit me to sign up for this Denmark thing, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need to. I mean, it's been part of it my whole life. I don't need to go to Denmark to see businesses working together. Nor do you, right, Tony?
I would like to go to Denmark.
Yeah, but like it's really actually, who that Denmark trip is for? Is people who are skeptical and don't believe it and need to see it to believe it. But like, I've been part of it my whole career.
Right.
So like, I don't need to see it. I don't need to go.
I think
I need to see a bunch of people.
I think I need to go to see it to believe it as the skeptic.
Well, you can go.
Okay.
If you're skeptical, now there's a reason for you to go.
That's right,
Okay,
because I've never seen that.
or you could just go to court and look at courts, go to the courts too.
There are no options locally.
Well, I guess I also just wanted to, share my appreciation, for Jamie and Lisa and all of our employees, Andrew and his children who came out and, rep.
Stephanie and her.
And Stephanie and her,
Tony's better half.
Far better.
great
I know.
as well. Yeah, and just, seeing everyone on July 4th, it was really, I was just glad to be part of it and I think everyone just, did a great job repping PUD and I also was, I didn't know how big that parade was gonna
first
be,
blame,
like,
first
I mean, it was a
blame.
lot, this is
We
a
bring
lot of
it.
people, so,
It's huge.
We love a good party.
yeah, very cool, so thanks for leading on that and, it's probably, I think that's all to have to report today, so we'll report back at our next meeting on travels and meetings. I guess we'll move to public comment. If anyone
Public.
joining us on Zoom right now would like to, please use the raise hand function at the bottom of the screen if you'd like to address us in public comment. Be unmuted. If anyone might be watching the live stream, feel free to at a future meeting or to, get in touch by email or what have you. We always welcome input from the public on any of our public business. So seeing none, we'll move on and we have no executive session scheduled, so I'll call for
Unless you feeling like you really need one, also.
He's good.
call for a good of the order here. Anything?
Nope.
All right, well, it's 10:35 a.m. Not as long as I expected this meeting might go. Well, we will adjourn and see you all next month. I mean, on the 28th.